Hello everyone, I'm Kathy Power, Superintendent with the Twinsburg City School District. Welcome to Twinsburg Schools Today. Boy, it has been a very fast summer and it has had so much activity going on in our school district. And before I introduce our guests for our show today, I just wanted to provide our viewers with a few ideas of what has happened in the Twinsburg City School District, because it has been a very, very busy summer. We started with a celebration of Mr. Scott Asti. He was recognized by the Ohio Association of Elementary School Administrators as Ohio's Assistant Principal of the Year. So we traveled to Columbus with Mr. Asti and his mom and dad, and we celebrated with him. We are so very proud of Mr. Asti, and we look forward to working with him again this year as Assistant Principal at Wilcox Primary School. The summer brought a lot of professional development opportunities for our staff, and in a few minutes we'll hear a little bit more about professional development. But as you see here on our slide, many opportunities happened, and many of our staff members were participating in learning throughout the summer months. Speaking of learning, our students also had opportunities for deep learning thanks to our partnership with Ahuja Medical Center, which is part of the University Hospital System. Here you can see that some of our students from Twinsburg High School participated in activities through the Academy at Twinsburg High School and our partnership with University Hospitals. Very much appreciative of University Hospitals for this wonderful deep learning opportunity for our students at Twinsburg High School. And of course, our show today is going to highlight some of our summer projects that happened throughout the school district. And if you take a look around, you'll see brand new paint jobs in the gymnasiums at Twinsburg High School and R.B. Chamberlain Middle School. You'll see that some of our parking lots were repaved. Our roof was replaced on the north side of R.B. Chamberlain Middle School, and a lot of other projects behind the scenes, which our business manager, Mr. Chad Welker, will share with you in his segment, which is part 2 of our show today. And finally, I just would like to say thank you very much to our wonderful staff members, the secretaries, the administrative team, the janitors, the custodians, our bus drivers. 100% of our school buses have passed inspection by the State Highway Patrol, and that's thanks to the work of Mr. Fred Bertinelli, who is our lead mechanic, and our mechanics over at our transportation department. They really do pay attention to the safety of our children, and we appreciate their hard work in making sure that our Tigers are coming back and forth to school every single day in our very safe vehicles. So, lots of things happening here in our school district, but before we begin to talk about this year, I just wanted to take a pause and thank the members of the Twinsburg High School Yearbook Committee for such a fantastic yearbook, which you can see here. We were able to receive our copies not such a long time ago, and it really does capture all the excitement of the 2018-19 school year. We thank Mr. Casey Kirtley, who is the advisor, as well as all of our students who really worked together to create a fantastic yearbook full of memories, especially the memories of the class of 2019, who many now are off to colleges near and far. We wish them the very best of luck. So today we're going to talk about all of the things that we'll be doing here in the school district, and our guests in the first segment is our 2 very important members of our staff. First we have Mrs. Jennifer Farthing, Director of Curriculum. Welcome.
Thank you very much. Pleasure to be here.
I'm sure that it is. And also Mrs. Denise Trapp-Hagen, who is our Director of Pupil Services. Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So we went over a few things that have happened over the summer months. Lots of planning has happened since the students left in early June. So let's talk about some of the learning that happened for our staff. And I know, Mrs. Farthing, you are the Director of all the professional development,
Correct.
And your partner here, Mrs. Trapp-Hagen,
Yes.
as well. Can you share with our community some of the things that happened with training for our staff?
Yes, we had a variety of things happen. One of them was our staff members went to Neonet to become Google certified.
What does that mean?
So what you do is you learn about all things Google. Specifically at the Google level 1, you learn about Google Docs, Google Sheets, Google Slides, Google Sites, YouTube, and Gmail. And teachers,
That's a lot.
It is a lot. Test 1, that will cover just the basics. And then when you go to be level 2 certified, the test is more challenging and it goes deeper into all of those applications. So we had probably about 15 staff members attend the training at Neonet for level 1 and level 2. So they go and they learn about all of those components, and then they take the test on their own and see how they did to become certified. And if our parents get emails from people that have the little Google box at the bottom, it'll tell them if they're certified level 1 or 2.
That's
and
great.
Everyone's very proud when they get that little badge.
That's right.
That was one of the professional developments. We also had a project-based learning professional development. At one point in time, our teachers went to the ESC of Northeast Ohio, and then we also brought that professional development to our teachers in August. So we had about 25 teachers work through that, and they are all very excited to try their PBL for the first time with the students this school year. And then another professional development we had was our blended learning initiative. So we are working with a consultant, Marcia Kish, and she was able to come in and work with our teachers on some blended learning techniques. And so we have a cohort of teachers that are at different levels with blended learning, and she came in and worked with them in a little more detail.
There's just so much excitement and innovation as we kick off this school year. And I often said through the summer months that the school district this year feels alive with innovation, so many things that are driven by professional development. Don't you believe that that is such an important part?
It is, and the teachers are excited, and they love learning just as much as our students do, and they are very excited to try all of these new techniques with their classes this year.
Right. When we say that the face of instruction is changing, can you explain a little bit what that means?
Yes. One of our focuses this year is blended learning, and with blended learning, it is it's not a step back, but we're continuing with the basics. But in blended learning, you're changing the way that the students are learning and working with actually changing the seating and everything, because some of the styles of desks that our students are using are desks that their parents used or that we may have used. So we're trying to change the look of the classrooms. And then with blended learning, we are breaking the students down into groups. So at one point in time, they'll have a mini lesson with a teacher. Then they will do an activity that's independent practice. They will do a digital content lesson, which involves technology, and then they will do a future ready lesson. So we are really trying to help our students prepare for 21st century learning. So in the future ready, they will do something that's either collaborative, creative, working with communication, or critical thinking, because we want our students to be able to excel in the future. And as we've said, we don't know what jobs our students are going to have because they really aren't even invented yet.
Right.
So we want our students to be able to do all of those things instead of just, be on their phone. We want them to be able to have a conversation and work cooperatively with their team. So we had professional development last year with blended learning, and it is something that is a focus for all of our grade levels, not just elementary. Some of our high school teachers have really embraced it as well. So it's really trying to get to know each student and their strengths and building upon those strengths.
And this year we have the help of a blended learning coach.
Yes, we're very excited that we were able to hire a blended learning coach. She is a former teacher in the district, Lauren Fenning. I bet she's even going to get to be a guest on the show one day.
I'm quite sure she will be.
And she was a leader for us last year with blended learning, just took it and embraced it and ran with it. And so she's going to be able to provide support to our teachers and go in and model lessons, be that critical conversation with a teacher and say, how did this go? Could we have done this a little differently? And then the modeling, because some of our teachers might not be as comfortable with blended learning.
Right.
And she will be able to go in and do a lesson with the teachers and the students so they can get a feel for how it can look and feel.
Right. It's such a great idea to have a coach that can come in, non-evaluative, take a look at how something is happening and instructional tools being used, offer some advice, maybe do some model teaching, and then help the teacher really get a grasp on how this new learning can happen in their classroom in the most positive way.
We're very fortunate this year and really looking forward to seeing what changes we can bring to our students.
So we talked about blended learning and problem-based learning, and so much is important in regard to making sure that learning fits what students' needs are.
Sure.
And Ms. Trappick, and I know for many, I don't know, at least the last 3 or 4 years, we've been talking about co-teaching, co-plan, co-serve.
Right.
Can you explain that a little bit more to our residents who are watching the show?
Sure. The last 3 years, both Jen and I have partnered curriculum and pupil services and taken our building administrators along with regular ed, special ed, and related services to training at the SST, which is State Support Team 8. And what they have done is they have taught us different ways to service kids so that we're meeting the needs of all of our kids, both regular and general ed teachers and special ed teachers, because the general ed teachers are there for the content and the special ed teachers are there to specialize in instruction for all kids. And what we've learned, through these cohorts with the co-plan, co-teach, is that a lot of the strategies that are good for students with disabilities or students that have 504 plans are good for all students. So what we're going to do this year is we're going to expand what we've already done the last 3 years, and Mrs. Farthing and I will be meeting with our building administrators in September and reviewing everything that we were taught as far as the initial steps that we need to take as a district to provide better services for our kids and get better results, looking at our data and how we can implement different strategies. And so we'll be meeting and reviewing everything we've learned the last 3 years, and then from there Mrs. Farthing and I will go out and meet with the building level teams that we took and kind of strategize with them as far as where we are, where we need to go, and what further training that we need. And then we want to put a team of teachers together along with other administratives to look at our tiered system and strengthening, our tier 1 and our universal design of learning. And that kind of goes to what Jen was talking about with blended learning, because what you're looking at for universal design of learning is you're looking at different ways we can present materials to kids, and different ways that they can show us that they've actually learned that material. And Jen gave you some examples of small group instruction. Some of them might do a video rather than a paper. It's just really creative ways that you're touching in on those individual students' learning styles and movement in the classroom and just being creative. So it all kind of goes together. So I know Jen and I are really excited about meeting with our building administration and teachers. Our teachers have presented at different, the board meeting, and they've also presented at your superintendent address. And I think that we've really got a lot of good things and a lot of excitement, and we're moving in the right direction as far as our services for all of our kids.
I think you're right, and the district feels that way this year. It feels so full of excitement, and teachers who are taking ownership to all of these new initiatives, because I think when it's all said and done, it's what's important and most important for our children, so that they can learn to the degree and level that they have the ability to.
Right.
And it's fantastic. And I know that in addition to all of that, we've been talking about trauma-sensitive schools and making sure that we're paying attention when children come to us, and actually when staff members come to us with trauma. Can you just mention a few things about that?
Sure. Last year in the district, we recognized that a lot of our kids are coming to school. About 5 years ago, we recognized that we've got some kids coming to school that are dealing with some pretty heavy things like divorce, the loss of a parent, drugs, alcohol, or parents being in prison, just a lot of things. And we realized that if we're not addressing the mental health needs of our students, then the education is going to impact the education. So that helped us 5 years ago, where we decided we needed to bring the resources to our school, and we brought Beachbrook on board with this. If all you have to do is turn on the television, and the things that our kids are being exposed to is awful. And so we realized that we really needed to look at, how do we as staff members and administrators and as a school community deal with the students that are coming in with, with trauma. So last year we brought in Missy McLean from Akron's Children's Hospital, and she talks about, school-based trauma. It was very well received by our staff members.
Entire staff, too.
Entire staff.
Right.
And then we brought brought Misty back later in the year to talk with our parents in our community, and this year we want to continue that that training. And last year, each of the buildings were involved in a book study, and this year we're again doing a book study, and I brought the book with us. It's called Fostering Resilient Learners, Strategies and Creating a Trauma for Sensitive Classroom. And what this is going, this was written by a mental health therapist and also a building principal, veteran building principal, who recognized that we really need to be addressing this need in order for the kids to feel comfortable coming to school and safe coming to school, and creating that type of culture so that we can address these needs, so that we can improve, our discipline and our academics, and just creating a culture that is safe for our kids to want to come to.
Right. Because if a child doesn't feel good about themselves,
Correct.
then how can they possibly learn?
Exactly.
Right. And that some of our children are coming with lots of things in their backpack, and not always good things.
Correct.
And so as a school community, we embrace that, and we're helping our entire team, teachers, classified staff members, administrators, grow some tools through our book study. So I
Correct.
thank you for facilitating that as well, and I thank you both for all that you're going to do. It's going to be a great year.
It's gonna be a great
so
year.
many fantastic things going on, and I appreciate your leadership in all that you do in our district.
Thank you for your leadership too.
Oh,
Yes, thank
much
you.
appreciated. When we return, we're going to be speaking with our business manager, Mr. Chad Welker, and our supervisor of personnel, Mr. Tim Sullen. So stay tuned. Welcome back to our Back to School show here at the Twinsburg City School District. I hope you enjoyed hearing a little bit about some of our academic programming that will take place this year in the 2019-20 school year. But our second segment is going to talk about projects that happened over the summer, as well as our hiring process. So with us today, we have our business manager, Mr. Chad Welker.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Thanks.
It's been a pretty busy summer for you.
Absolutely.
Yes,
Absolutely.
and you're still just getting through it all.
Right.
Right. It's all awesome, though. And our supervisor of personnel, Mr. Tim Sullen. Welcome.
Thank you.
So you have such a big job of making sure that the talent in front of our students is the very best. So why don't we start by talking a little bit about the hiring process, what you do to recruit the very finest talent, and some of the information about some of the new hires that I'm sure our community is interested in knowing.
Well, first of all, with the recruitment process, this starts well before the summertime and well before the end of the school year, as we visit noted fairs, the noted fair is an educational fair for teachers that is held down in Akron, as well as I've gone to recruitment fairs at Cleveland State as well as Key Tower. So it's a lot of recruitment fairs that take place throughout the year, and by doing that we hope to ensure that we get the talent in that we need. One of the positions that we've been in this year is that we've actually expanded a lot of positions, and so I know we've expanded art at the high school, which our students are really excited about, as well as we expanded at RBC because we were able to bring in an administrative intern. So we're really excited about that. We have Michelle Loudon for that position, and because in Twinsburg we want to groom our own, we want to help our own succeed, and so this gives her an opportunity to come in, see how it is from the perspective of an administrator, and really make that decision if administration is for her going forward. And so I think that's an excellent thing there. Going down to Dodge, we were able to expand our music program for orchestra, so that's going to be amazing for our kids coming through 4th, 5th, and 6th grades to actually have that entrance into the orchestra program. So Mrs. Jarmusik will be working hand in hand with Damon Kahn as the students progress from Dodge through RBC all the way to the high school. So just getting our orchestra program up and going at the lower level. So.
And what's interesting is in your comments this afternoon, you're talking a lot about the district's intent to make sure that our students are well-rounded in the arts. And the growth in the programming is happening because we have more and more children and students at the high school especially who are interested in those arenas. 2 years ago or 3 years ago we expanded vocal music and hired Mr. Brian Detweiler. Last year we expanded our band program and hired Miss Sam Gossett. And now this year, with the hire of Mrs. Jarmusic, the orchestra program continues to grow. So it's an exciting time to be a student in our district with the expansion of some of our programs. And the programs expand because the students are telling us that's what they would like to do, and that's where their interest happens to lie. So when we're talking about the interview process, it takes months and months and months to find the best talent. So can you explain to our viewers a little bit about how that all happens?
Well, I began the interview process by conducting a screener interview. And this screener interview, it is the Ken Cardinal method of screening. So it's myself and the candidate. We sit face to face, and it's about 53 questions that will give us, the district, a view, a look inside the interpersonal skills of the candidate, because we as a district, we have certain things that we focus on and certain qualities that we desire. And by doing that, we want to make sure that it's a good fit. And one of the funniest things that was said to me about the screening process was someone referred to me as a matchmaker.
Oh, look
So
at that.
I said, I promptly responded, well, put me on the Bachelorette then. You know, I could have helped that out. But just, it's actually true when I sat down and looked at it, is yes, I'm that in-between, as that matchmaker, because we want someone to not just come here and stay here for a few years, but we want to have them for a lifetime. We want them to grow in our district. We want them to have that positive effect on our students, and we want them to be with us for the long run and not just for 2 or 3 years.
And I think the candidates that were presented at the level that I participated in have been very qualified, very enthusiastic about being in front of children, and really looking to invest their time to give back to our community as well. So it's been a great summer.
Yeah.
Thank you for your efforts.
No problem.
Speaking about efforts, Mr. Welker, you're in charge of all things facilities and grounds, and it has been quite the summer with all that you've been investing your time in.
Absolutely. It's been very busy. Everything that we do is based on our facilities assessment that we did in 2016 and then updated this past year. So all of our summer projects are definitely focused towards that end goal in mind.
Can you highlight for our residents some of the major projects that happened this past summer?
Sure, absolutely. So we had a number of behind-the-scenes HVAC projects that probably aren't that exciting to
Heating
take
and air.
pictures of, right? Heating, ventilation, and air, right? And so, but a number of those initiatives definitely have an impact on keeping our kids warm, safe, and dry. So we probably had 2 or 3 projects at each building related to HVAC. In addition, we had a major roofing project in the north wing of RB Chamberlain. So that was a complete tear-off and brand new roof. We did new sidewalks. Our buses, we purchased 3 new buses. And one thing we wanted to bring up was, again, this year, Fred and our mechanics staff passed all of our bus inspections 100%.
That's tremendous.
So we've done a number of paving projects across the district, trying to maintain our property. As Ms. Farthing and Ms. Trapphagen were talking about, we have our blended learning classrooms. So we remodeled 16 classrooms across Dodge, Bissell, and Wilcox, putting those finishing touches on those rooms up to today. So lots of different projects. And really, when we look at our projects, we had about 125, I believe, that we monitor through a spreadsheet. So a lot of small and bigger projects, just getting ready for the kids coming back.
I think one of the things that I think is very interesting and important that happens that I think our residents may not know is a series of inspections that happen over the summertime too. Can you
Absolutely.
just share some information about that?
Sure. So we do a series of bleacher inspections to make sure that all of our bleachers are in the top shape. So we just did a number of renovations at Tiger Stadium, for instance, based on that inspection. We've done stage inspections, kiln inspections.
In the art classrooms?
Right. We've checked our lockers, some small things just like that to make sure that nothing's moving or shifting. So a number of different inspections that we do on an annual basis to make sure that our kids are safe.
And it's so important. And again, I think we even forget that even happens, but every year annually, that's a part of the routine that happens during the summer months.
Absolutely. We take the safety and security of our kids extremely seriously, and so all those audits are things that we do to try to make sure that we're ensuring the safety of our students.
Did you mention the playgrounds too?
Oh, thank you. So yes, our playground inspections we do in the spring of each year, when the spring season starts, to make sure that our playgrounds are ready, and then we do another one at the end of the spring for summer projects. So
That's great.
So yeah,
I really appreciate the effort to make sure that our students are safe.
absolutely.
I think the project that happened this summer that has the most razzle and dazzle are the 2 gymnasium floors.
Absolutely. So we actually hired a painter who looked like Simon Cowell.
He did?
But he did the tiger by complete freehand, and it was incredible to watch it from start to finish. And now it's our reflex blue. We have a nice black outline of our gym as well that I think just adds a little more dimension to our gym floor. So that was definitely one of the more exciting ones, along with our bus siding repair project. That was another major project that really spruced up the back of RB Chamberlain.
Right. And this year, you and I will be around the district talking about the Conceptual Legacy Project and gathering feedback from the residents so that the Board of Education can make some decisions about a potential building project for the district.
Absolutely, and we really value the feedback of we've already done a series of meetings, and just the feedback is really crucial to making sure we're building for the future.
Right, so stay tuned, right?
Right, absolutely.
Right. Well, thank you for being my guest today on Twinsburg Schools Today. It's an exciting place to be. We have a lot of great things happening, new staff members, grounds and facilities that look fantastic and are ready to greet our students as they return to school. So thank you for your efforts.
Thanks.
Well, we hope that you enjoyed the kickoff show to Twinsburg Schools Today, and I hope to see you very soon at one of our very many school events. Have a great day, everyone.